Yes, people, Champions League football is back. It has commenced, and I can watch it as a neutral football fan, so I can smile about it. You know what I'm trying to say? So let's get right into it, man. The early kickoff, Athletic Bilbao versus Arsenal at Bilbao, and we know Bilbao is somewhat a fortress. They had a very good record there at home last season, and I'm sure that is gonna continue this season because Bilbao are that type of team that, you know, the fan base, the stadium, they have it rocking, and you know they always do seem to have a decent home record. And you know, Arsenal did find it very, very difficult to break them down. You know, 2-0 in the end, and that's testament to the squad depth that Arsenal do have now. Um, you know, Eze hooked, Gyökeres hooked, but to be fair, Gyökeres did get a head injury. But Eze finding a bit of time, needing a bit of time, I should say, to settle into this Arsenal team, especially on the left where, you know, there were question marks. Can Eze adapt to this position? I know he has played there for Palace in the past, but in this Arsenal team, it is a different ask. And I did see a clip where, you know, Eze played a pass and he's drifting inside and Arteta's screaming at him to get back on the touchline. So, you know, Eze's still adapting, but that's why you have squad depth. That's why you have the substitutes. That's why you sign players that go straight into the first team to now allow those previous first team players to be the bench players. And that's what we saw yesterday with the likes of Martinelli and Trossard coming on and both bagging, both getting on the score sheet. Testament to Martinelli to really make an impact 36 seconds into coming on, and you know that first touch with his head was a bit shaky. You're thinking, oh, has he lost the chance? But that second touch that took the ball away from the defender was amazing, and you know there was no catching Martinelli after that. I mean, even the finish, like on another day, maybe the keeper saves it, but thankfully for Martinelli, you know, it has hit the back of the net, and that's you know that's the importance of squad depth. You know, these are the reasons why you see the best teams that win it all. You know, they have a great squad. So let's see what that can do for Arsenal heading into this Champions League campaign. Also debuts for Hincapié and Norgard. So again, these are players that you're not even thinking about just yet, but they got their debuts yesterday, and I'm sure they will both be integral in Arsenal season. But to be fair, shout out, you know, I think Rice as well. Rice had a very good game just everywhere on the pitch, everywhere on the pitch. But the man I want to talk about is Christian Mosquera. My man has seamlessly fitted into the Arsenal first team, you know. Um, you don't even recognize that Saliba's gone, Saliba's injured, you know. And these are the type of signings. 13 million Arsenal signed him for, 21 years old. And wow, honestly, he's doing such a great job. Not only is has he got those attributes just like Saliba in terms of sweeping up, but if he needs to engage, he will. And yeah, he's looking like an amazing talent. And of course, I don't doubt that, you know, when Saliba's back to full fitness, he will come back into the team. But just to know that if anything happens to Saliba, to Gabriel, you've got the likes of Mascara to fill in rather than, you know, in the past where they've had Holding and players like that. So yeah, Arsenal 2-0, 3 points, and they will definitely be happy with that on game week 1 of the Champions League. All right, moving on. Spurs versus Villarreal, 1-0. 1-0, bit of a boring game to be honest with you. And a costly, embarrassing goalkeeping mistake from um from the keeper. Honestly, how's he done that? He probably hasn't stopped thinking about that since. But yeah, top play from Bergvall. You know, Bergvall had a very good game again. That's his second great game in a row. He will be trying to build on that. Thomas Frank did say that after his performance on the weekend in the Premier League that he couldn't leave him out, and that is why Bergvall had another good game. And I like to give a special shout out also to Rishi just for his dog work, man. I know he's not the most prolific striker in the world, but even when you think about um, Bergvall playing that dangerous cross in the box, and of course the keeper should deal with it, but the reason the keeper goes for it is because Richarlison is always so active, chasing every single ball, and I just love his character. Even the fact of like when he's getting substituted in the 70 something minute, he's pissed off about it. Like I love that about Richarlison. Um, and also a debut, I believe it's his debut for Kolo Muani. Very quiet, to be fair. Again, the game was quite boring, but another player I want to give praise to is Pape Matar Sarr. What a player, man. Just an all-action midfielder, and I think Thomas Frank is, using him in a more progressive position in the cam role. But wow, he's really an all-action midfielder, so young as well, and I think he's going to be such a key player for Spurs this season. And finally, in terms of giving props to players, I want to talk about Paulinho. The fact that Spurs are now, and we go back to squad depth, the fact that Spurs are able to bring on a player like Paulinho at 70 minutes to close out the game, and he did so well at closing out the game, I think is honestly, one of my underrated signings of the season. I think he'll prove to be so good for Spurs this season. And Spurs, man, 4 out of 5 clean sheets to start the season, and the fifth one is obviously their 1-0 loss to Bournemouth, but 4 clean sheets out of 5. That back four of Pedro Porro, Cuti Romero, Van de Ven, and Jed Spence is looking so solid with obviously Vicario behind them. So we'll see how long they can keep that up. I think Spurs' defense is going to be a key factor to any success they have this season, for sure. All right, moving on. Real Madrid versus Marseille. I mean, listen, Marseille will be feeling like, game week 1, first day of the Champions League season, going to the Santiago Bernabeu. There's not many tougher asks. You know what I'm saying? Ended up being 2-1 with a Mpabbe brace from the penalty spot. I personally didn't think that second penalty was a penalty. I thought it was a clean challenge, so maybe that's just Real Madrid tax. But that's just me. Let me know what you guys think, if it was a penalty or not. But I want to just touch on Mbappe because obviously, they went trophyless last season. Mbappe's made the big move to Real Madrid. PSG won it all as soon as he left. But Mbappe's numbers are insane. They are insane. He's 4 from 4 in La Liga this year. He's got 2 from 1 in the CL. Overall, in terms of goals and assists, he's 8 from 5 this season. And last season, in the trophyless season, he got 49 goals, I believe, from 59. Or 49 goals and assists, I believe, from 59 games. Like, I think it was 44 goals in all comps, 31 in the league. It's crazy, and I don't doubt that just with a bit of time that Mbappe really will, you know, realize all his dreams at Real Madrid because wow, people like to underrate these players. Football is fickle, fans are fickle. They forget about these players who are just, they're not like the rest. And Mbappe really is one of them. He's so dangerous in transition. Just yeah, he's really got it all. And also, I want to talk about the combination, the partnership between Kylian Mbappe and Arda Güler. Wow, honestly, it's reminiscent of Cristiano Ronaldo and Mesut Ozil. You know, really is reminiscent. And the fact that even Mbappe, I think it's quite known that his favorite player was Cristiano Ronaldo, Mesut Ozil, Arda Güler, both Turkish. It's very reminiscent. And wow, yeah, they are really linking up so well this season. You've been seeing it in La Liga, and it's translating. I'm sure it will translate into the Champions League. Moving on to Marseille, they were my underdogs for this season for the Champions League campaign. De Zerbi in charge. We all know him from Brighton. He had, a great stint in the Premier League. He's taken it over to the south of France. And to be fair, I just think Marseille have a decent team. They have a very good team with players that can really damage teams. We talk about the likes of Mason Greenwood. We talk about the likes of Timothy Weah. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he's got that, know-how, got that experience. I really think, and I said it in the preview, Greenwood is gonna really announce himself back on the world stage in this Champions League campaign. I really do believe that, and I'm sure once he does, and maybe if he gets a big move at the end of this season or in a couple years, I'm sure the English tabloids will have a lot to say about that. But Mason Greenwood, he got an assist for Timothy Weah's goal, and what a strike from Weah. And Weah had a very good chance from the left earlier in the game. So, they are looking very dangerous. And to fall short 2-1 to Real Madrid, to two penalties, a questionable penalty as well, you know, it's not bad. It's not bad. They've got things to build on, and I do believe Marseille will be the underdogs, the surprise package of the Champions League this season. Trent Alexander-Arnold injured 5 minutes in, the hamstring went, and it's not the greatest start to his life in Madrid. I've got a Liverpool fan telling me that he's cooked himself, he's this, he's that, he's ruined his career. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think, it's just the beginning, and I don't doubt that Trent also will realize all his dreams, or all of his further dreams, before the Liverpool fans get, you know, feel a type of way. At Real Madrid, I do believe he will be super successful there. But the fact that he got injured and then Carvajal got a silly, silly red card by, doing the headbutt thing, it's so poor from him, especially as probably the most, after Luka Modric has left, the most experienced player in that Real Madrid team. It's really, really poor from him. So it's looking like Valverde's going back to right back. Moving on, and this is the game of the first day of the Champions League. This is definitely the game for everyone. If you didn't watch it, to go watch the highlights. Juventus versus Dortmund, 4-4. What a comeback from Juventus, 1-0 down, 1-1, 2-1 to Dortmund, 2-2, 4-2 to Dortmund, and then in the dying embers, literally the last, 3, 4, 5 minutes of the game, Juventus make it 4-4, and we'll run it through it. So 1-0, a great goal from Adeyemi, a great, great goal from Adeyemi. I really like those type of goals, those finishes, really taking players on and getting a lovely strike off of his left foot into the corner. And then Kenan Yildiz, he really is, somewhat a wonder kid, along with Arda Güler. Turkish contingency for these wonder kids is really increasing. And Kenan Yildiz, what a finish from the left, what a finish. And you can really see the class. So that will also be another guy to watch in this campaign. And then 2-1 the Metro with a great finish, a great finessed finish into the top right hand corner. And then, you see the likes of Vlahovic to really take the reins of this game. I think Vlahovic was really, a probably the best player on the pitch when you think about the effect he's had on the game. Because Vlahovic, he was signed by Juventus from Fiorentina, and he was really meant to be like the next big thing in Serie A at the time. People were likening him to the likes of Haaland in terms of his play style, and it really hasn't happened for him since. But yesterday, he really did very well with a brace, and then also he assisted the last goal for Lloyd Kelly, ex Bournemouth man, if I'm correct. Have I got that wrong? But ex-PO man, and he's now scoring huge goals to equalize ties in a 4-4 bout in the Champions League. So, proper top game, honestly outstanding, and that's what the Champions League is about. That's what football is about, man. It's entertainment. We love to see it. And again, like I said in the preview, people always write Dortmund out, but yeah, man, they're always there and thereabouts. They always are. Finally, quickly cover another huge comeback from Karabakh, the Azerbaijan. The team from Azerbaijan come back against Benfica in Lisbon as well. Benfica went 2-0 ahead, and Karabakh came back to win 3-2. A lovely second goal by Duran as well to equalize the tie in that game. So respect Karabakh, respect Azerbaijan. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, team to look out for. Maybe they can cause some upsets, moving forward. And then finally, PSV versus Union Saint-Gilloise, I think is how you pronounce it. 3-1 to Union Saint-Gilloise, I should say. PSV, and it's looking like PSV are going to be, the team that probably get pushed about, in my opinion, in this CL campaign. Probably the same for Union Saint-Gilloise. They're probably looking to pick up points in games like this to move forward. But yeah, really dominant performance from them. PSV did have the consolation goal from Ruben van Bommel, the son of Mark van Bommel, the legend. So yeah, I mean, it's a great day. Loads of goals on the first day of the Champions League. And listen, man, we'll lock into the second day. We'll lock into tonight. People, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your favorite game was. Let me know what your views are on the first day of the Champions League. Let me know who your predictions are. Let me know who you think is going to win the Champions League. Let me know who you think is going to go far. Who's your underdogs? Mine's Marseille. Who's your underdogs? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, man. And hit that subscribe button, man. We need to get to like 100 subscribers, man. You know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, get me there.